Hello, beautiful people of the internet. As I am filming this today, we are currently still in isolation and quarantine. I figured that now would be a great time to give you guys some movie suggestions, and I thought it would be a fun way to do that through your zodiac sign, specifically your moon sign. Today, I'm going to be assigning a Studio Ghibli film to your moon sign. Don't be confused with your sun sign and your moon sign. Your sun sign is more like your personality. Your moon sign represents the core of who you are, your truest self, how you handle emotions. I wanted to assign Studio Ghibli films based on what I think your signs would connect with the most on a more emotional level. If you don't know what your moon sign is, I've provided a link for a site where you can find out what your moon sign is. The sun sign is like the regular zodiac that we all have, just based off of our birthdays. Moon sign is more specific. I'll give you a second to pause if you don't know what your moon sign is, and then just press play, and then we will continue. I'm glad you know what your moon sign is. Let's continue. Since Aries are strong-minded, they tend to have this very action-oriented, pioneering spirit about them. They're quick to act. For those of you with an Aries moon, I'm assigning Princess Mononoke. Prince Ashitaka falls under a fatal curse brought to him by a demon boar and sets off to the west to find the great forest spirit to cure him. Ashitaka finds himself in the middle of a battle between the animal inhabitants of the forest and an iron mining town that is exploiting and killing the forest. There, he meets Princess Mononoke, a brave young woman raised by a wolf god leading the forest into battle. This film is the first that jumped out to me for Aries. It just fits. I feel like you guys would also be able to stomach some of the graphic images in Princess Mononoke. It is not a fairy tale. I get a really strong sense of Aries in both Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke as well. Since Taurus moons are more sensitive and caring, and they have this sort of elegance, gracefulness to them. For Taurus, I'm assigning The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. This beautiful hand-drawn, thought-provoking feature film is based on the Japanese folk tale, The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. Princess Kaguya centers on a beautiful nymph-like baby discovered inside a bamboo stalk by a bamboo cutter. The man and his wife decide to take in this baby and raise her as their own. But the bamboo cutter finds gold and fine fabric in the bamboo grove where he found his daughter and takes it as a sign from heaven to raise her as a royal. I think Tauruses would really connect with this kind of melancholic feeling that the tale of the Princess Kaguya has. Kaguya really stands her ground on what she believes in, and Taurus also takes no BS. Tauruses would also really appreciate the love in this film, the love that she has for her country life, her simple life, and the love that she has for certain people. Don't want to spoil it. They have this lighthearted sense of mischief. If your moon is in Gemini, I'm assigning for you My Neighbor Totoro. Set in Japan in 1958, a university professor and his two daughters, Satsuki and Mei, move into an old house to be closer to their hospitalized mother. One day, Mei discovers a large spirit called Totoro, and the sisters' magical adventure begins. The reason why I chose this movie for Geminis is Geminis have this lightness to them. I figured this classic would speak to your playful spirit. This sisterly duo in the sense of play and magic would really speak to Gemini moons. Since Cancers really base their decisions off of how they feel, they're very sensitive, they're very in tune with their emotions. I'm gonna give Cancers From Up on Poppy Hill. This film takes place in Yokohama in 1963 while Japan is picking up after the devastation of World War II. It tells the story of Umi, a schoolgirl who lives in a house overlooking the water. Umi meets Shun Kazuma, a member of the journalism club. The story centers on an innocent, budding romance between the pair and a buried secret from the past. I chose From Up on Poppy Hill for Cancers initially because of the cozy vibes I feel when I personally watch From Up on Poppy Hill, and I feel like Cancers Cancers might really enjoy that. I think Cancer moon signs would really appreciate the emotional depth in this film. This movie is less action-packed and is more simple. It's more about everyday life and the connection between two people. Since Leos are ruled by the sun, in their core, Leos are more confident. Even if they're not a confident person, they have this sense of knowing where they're going, knowing what they're doing. For Leo, I'm assigning Howl's Moving Castle. Sophie, a hatter, is cursed by the Witch of the Waste, transforming her into a 90-year-old woman. As the curse prevents her from telling anyone of her condition, Sophie decides to leave and seek out a cure. She befriends mysterious wizard Howl, who lives in a magical moving castle. She manages to bring life to the moving castle and helps Howl face his former teacher and the Witch of the Waste. This film is one of my top 3 favorite Ghibli movies of all time. I think that Howl's Moving Castle will quench Leo's need or yearning for this extravagance. Leo moons would really enjoy watching Howl. He's a bit flamboyant and he has this theatrical trait about him. With Sophie, Leo moons would really feel for her courage, will really root her on. Virgo moons probably lean more towards being emotionally more reserved. It's not that they don't feel their emotions, it's just they just internalize them, but they have a very strong sense of self. Virgo moons, I'm assigning The Wind Rises. Jiro has dreamt of flying and designing airplanes his entire life. Nearsighted from a young age and unable to be a pilot, Jiro joins a major Japanese engineering company and becomes one of the world's most innovative and accomplished airplane designers. This is a very realistic and beautiful film about a dream. Jiro, the main character, kind of reminds me of a Virgo. He is a little bit more reserved, but he dreams big. Jiro will see everyday life things and kind of think of it in a airplane kind of perspective. I do suggest you watching it in Japanese. I mean, I think Virgos would actually do that anyways. Because of Libra's need to want to keep an emotional balance, to keep things in harmony, Libra moons, I'm assigning Castle in the Sky. Young orphan Shida and her kidnapper, Colonel Muska, are flying to a military prison when their plane is attacked by a gang of air pirates. Escaping from her captors and the attack, Shida falls from the sky and is saved by her magical crystal around her neck. Fellow orphan Patsu finds her, and the pair join forces to discover the magical floating city of Laputa, while pursued by both Muska, who is wanting the technological powers of Laputa, and the pirates, who lust for the city's treasures. This is definitely an adventure film with many layers. There is this strong theme of nature versus technology, and I find especially Miyazaki often has those kinds of, opposing forces of nature being destroyed by mankind. Libra moons tend to want to feel a balance in their lives. I think Libras would really connect with Shida's want and need to keep Laputa safe. There's a mysteriousness behind Scorpio moons. Scorpios are very soulful, very deep. For Scorpio, I'm assigning Spirited Away. 10-year-old Chihiro and her parents stumble upon a seemingly abandoned amusement park. After her mother and father are turned into pigs, Chihiro meets the mysterious Haku, who explains that the park is a resort for supernatural beings and that she must work there to free herself and her parents. That is like a very, very brief summary of Spirited Away. Scorpio moons, I think, would really enjoy this film because of how complex it is. There is a sense of mystery behind, this new realm Chihiro finds herself in, as well as Haku. Scorpio moons are all about that soul connection, and I think because Scorpios tend to feel their emotions in this really deep, visceral way, watching Spirited Away would probably make them connect with that. Sagittarius, my little adventurers, you are going to get Kiki's Delivery Service. A lovely coming-of-age story about a 13-year-old witch in training, Kiki, who moves to a seaside town with her talking cat, Gigi, spending a year alone away from her family to hone her magical powers, and manages life as the only witch in this small city. This one was actually one of the easiest ones for me to assign because of Sagittarius moons and their need for adventure, their thirst for knowledge, for different cultures, their dislike of feeling fenced in. I think you guys would connect with Kiki moving away from home, wanting to experience this new town, even though her cat is telling her, maybe we should move, maybe we should go back home. She says, no, 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 I'm staying here. During this time of staying at home, being self-isolated, I think watching a movie where a girl goes and experiences a new city, a new town, meet new friends, new people, tries to discover herself, hone in her powers, that would quench Sagittarians' need for travel, for new experiences. Because of Capricorn's ambition, I'm choosing Grave of the Fireflies. Set in Japan during World War II, this story follows Saita, a teenager taking care of his younger sister, Setsuko. An American firebombing during World War II separates the two children from their parents. The siblings rely completely on each other and struggle against all odds to stay together and stay alive. It is a heavy film, but at the same time, there is a lot of lightness to it. Capricorns emotionally, and even in general, will tend to be more giving, sometimes to the point where they neglect themselves, they neglect their own wants and needs. That's kind of what happens in the film. The older brother is making sure that his sister is okay, that she's taken care of. He is her only provider, and he is willing to do whatever it takes to take care of his little sister. It is, honestly, it makes me like choked up just even talking about it, because it's such, I don't even have words for it. It's such a great, beautiful film. Be prepared, Capricorns, or whoever is going to watch this movie, if you haven't already, bring tissues. Aquarians tend to be more emotionally independent. They also have this little quirkiness about them as well. Aquarius, I'm giving you The Secret World of Arrietty. This is a story of a tiny teenager living with her parents in the underground of a suburban home. Like others of her kind, Arrietty remains hidden from her humans, but occasionally ventures off from beneath the floorboards to borrow supplies for her home and family. Arrietty forms a secret friendship with a regular-sized boy living with his aunt. I think this movie will really speak to Aquarius's need for adventure. Aquarius moons tend to be lighthearted and collaborative. They tend to be more of the activists. I think Aquarius moons would really be captured by the quirky aspect of having, these little borrowers. Because Pisces are more dreamy, they're more imaginative, I'm gonna give you guys Ponyo. A goldfish princess encounters a 5-year-old human boy who lives in a house on a seaside cliff. He frees her and names her Ponyo. Ponyo gains the ability to transform between fish and human. Her father, however, sets out to find Ponyo and bring her back home into the ocean. Ponyo is one of the more lighthearted Ghibli films, but that doesn't mean that it's less interesting than any of the others. I was captivated throughout the entire film because of its dreaminess. I believe it's also based on The Little Mermaid, just a very different take on The Little Mermaid. Because Pisces are one of the more sensitive signs, but they also can feel very overwhelmed by their emotions. They sometimes don't really know how to express their emotions. I think that Ponyo would be better for you guys if, having too heavy of a movie like Grave of the Fireflies. Ponyo is just a lighter film. The music is beautiful. Those are all the signs, not all the Ghibli movies. Whether or not you guys take my suggestions on what movies to watch, that's all up to you. I hope you guys had fun watching this. If you haven't seen the movie I picked out for your sign, then I hope you enjoy watching it. I'm sure you will. They're all amazing. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and to subscribe down below and hit the bell notification if you want to be, notified when I post something. All my social media links are down below. Enjoy the Ghibli films, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love, guys. Bye.